Audio okay? We're good? Awesome. So thank you, Andy, for the introduction. Like she mentioned, my name is Claudia. I'm a product design manager. There we go. I can hold it. Okay. This is okay? Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Andy, for the introduction. My name is Claudia. I'm a product design manager at Cisco Umbrella. If you're wondering what the heck is Cisco Umbrella, I'm going to get into that in just 1 second. So let's get this started. I'm going to be talking about what's it like to be a designer in the world of cybersecurity. But let's start with something fun. Let's start with a quiz. So in case you didn't know, there's a black market in the dark internet where all sorts of stolen data get sold. What do you think is worth more money? A social security number, a health record, or credit card information? Let's do it hands. Who thinks it's A, social security? Who thinks it's B, health record? And who thinks it's C, credit card info? Moment of truth. If you picked B, health records, as creepy as it sounds, are worth a lot of money. People use those to blackmail the owner of the health record if there's anything that they don't want, the world to know in there. They're also used to get prescription medicine. There's plenty of use of them out there. And this is part of the reason why healthcare companies and organizations get targeted by hackers. Access to end users. This has been one of our challenges. Many times our buyer, and this is another challenge for enterprise, the buyer is not the end user. So we have excellent relationship with the buyer, but the people who are using the product every day are not that easy to access. There's also, different layers. There's support, there's account management, and getting, becoming friends with all of them so that we can contact the users freely. So this is a picture from actually kind of a tour that one of our teams did. They visited different customers in the Texas area. And that guy in the middle, Paul, our UX researcher, he's our first researcher in our team. We started as a team of generalist UX designers, and now we're slowly starting to specialize, and Paul is our first to join the research team. So pretty much like a month after he started in that role, we asked him to pack his bags and go into the store in Texas to talk to customers, which has been very productive. We're also trying to schedule customer calls as often as possible. We have what we call product labs mailers, which is we got a list of about 100 customers that have agreed to participate whenever we're thinking about releasing a new feature to give us their feedback. And also something that we're trying to do right now is to have customers to partner with us throughout the entire design process. So whenever we start working in a new project, identify users, customer/users that would be a good fit for this, and just like continue to keep them involved throughout the process and keep going back to them to ask them for feedback. And then the wide spectrum of users. So we have users who are not tech savvy, who security is only part of a job that they do. For instance, Bethany, she's a librarian, right? She wants to use OpenDNS to make sure that the library computers are protected and that people are not browsing bad things while they are in the library. But that's just only like a small portion of everything she does. So she doesn't have time to understand a complex UI and complex workflows. She just wants to have things as simple as possible. And then we have Steve, who is a senior security analyst in a Fortune 500 company. So all this guy does is security. He lives and breathes security. So being able to effectively cater to those two users with one UI, with one product, is actually quite challenging. So the approach we've taken there is, the hypothesis is, if we can meet the needs of Bethany, and we can meet the needs of Steve, then every other user that falls somewhere in between would be covered. We would be covering the needs of that user. Obviously, we continuously need to validate that assumption. And there's also, and I think this is kind of like relevant to the topic of this series, balancing AI versus empowering people. So we have a very powerful technology that can make a lot of decisions for users. They just need to type a domain, forget about it, and we make a decision whether the domain they try to go is good, is bad, or so-so. So these are actually quotes from two customers, both Steves, so both advanced security users in the same event. One saying that his idea of a security product is something you set up, you leave it running in the background, and you forget about it, and it just lets you know whenever something's wrong. But then another user was, well, you know, when it comes to security, automation, and machine learning make me a little bit nervous. I want to be able to have control. I want to be able to push a button. So this is a challenge that we deal with every day as designers, right? Like, how much control do we give to the user? You know, we don't want to end up with one of those products that have like a million controls on the UI and no one knows what they mean, but at the same time, we want to cater to that user who wants to have more control over what's going on with the security in their agency. And then the last challenge I wanted to talk about is scaling our mission. So what you see there is our mission. We help people connect with confidence in any device, anywhere, anytime, by creating powerful security solutions that are easy to deploy and simple to manage. Now, ever since the Cisco acquisition, we've started adding, we're not only about DNS anymore, we started adding a lot of advanced functionality that is coming from the Cisco technology capabilities. We're dealing with way larger customers and organizations that we were used to dealing and with way bigger volumes of data. So how do we scale in a way where we keep the product from becoming a monster and from losing that simplicity to deploy and to manage? That's something that we have been struggling with. So those are the challenges, but in the end, we are very proud of what we do. We feel like, you know, yes, I mean, we work for a corporation, we all get paid a salary, but we are making the internet a safer place. We are letting people make mistakes and not have those mistakes cost them a lot, right? If someone clicks on a phishing link from an email, we block that, right? And whenever you hear the news about, you know, this, like, corporations getting hacked and getting ransomware, it's like, oh, well, you know, they got millions of dollars, and, you know, their stock might go down a little bit, but then it'll pick back up, so you don't feel like a lot of empathy. But what people forget is that the actual data that is being stolen and hacked is data from everyday people, right? It's people, so like real humans, not the company that are getting their health records stolen, their credit card used. So we feel like we are helping from our product, both on the enterprise, Cisco Umbrella, and OpenDNS still exists as a free service out there to try to keep the people safer from the internet bad guys. Thank you. Are we doing questions, or do we have time?
Yes. Well, are you guys hiring for any jobs that anybody wants to know about?
We're not hiring for our design team, Cisco Umbrella, but if you go to the Cisco website, the bigger Cisco, like we call them, they definitely have a lot of positions open, and if you're interested in Umbrella in particular, we have several positions open for engineers, product managers, marketing.
Great.
All the things.
So I'm Caleb, I met you earlier. I was wondering, have you given any thought to how to help people approach security from a more proactive standpoint, like changing passwords, two-factor auth, things like that?
Yes, absolutely. So in security, I mean, you can have all the technology in the world, but if people are not following best practices, I mean, your risk of someone messing up is a lot higher. So something that we hear from our users a lot, from our customers, is that they want to educate their users. When I first started, I thought that, oh, shit, you click on a phishing link and you're in trouble, you're going to get fired. And in reality, talking to customers, that's not really the mindset at all. What they're trying to do is, okay, this user clicked on this phishing link. How can we explain why they shouldn't do that again, what they did wrong, and help them understand? So something that we're trying to do is definitely have the product be more informative and finding ways to try to, through our product, educate people about best practices, for sure.
Yeah. Trying to give you more like diagnosed feedback, like for
Exactly, like for instance, like this page, right? So here it's giving you some information, right? But maybe we can do a better job at saying what they did wrong and what they should look out for the next time. Right? Like, these are the characteristics of a phishing link, and this is what you should be looking out for. So definitely a lot of work to do there.
One more.
Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm curious to know how you design an interface that caters to both ends of the spectrum. So you showed us Bethany and Steve. I'm just thinking personally, whenever I want to go into settings for maybe Google Chrome, I always end up clicking on advanced settings, and I'm not a power user. I don't think of myself that way, but that's anything I want to control is always there, and it's never just visible to me. How do you find out what controls you should surface and how they should be accessed?
Yeah, and honestly, there's a lot of trial and error and a lot of UX research involved in there. Normally, the approach is we try to start simple, and if we start seeing a need from the more advanced users to have more control, then we slowly start adding that, and we keep validating, that as we do that process, the product is still good for Bethany, for our not super sophisticated user. And a lot of times, we use progressive disclosure, for instance, right? Like we have a lot of sections with advanced settings that are kind of like an expandable section. So it's definitely takes a lot of, like I said, trial and error and experimenting, starting with the simple approach, adding complexity progressively. Once the UI starts looking like crap, then maybe it's time to hide some portions and make them still available, but not at a high level.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.